This ain't your parents' Zoo Loretto, but it may be the most accurate game about running a zoo you've ever played. Hey everyone, it's Kylie at Games Unlimited. This week I want to talk about a behemoth of a game, Ark Nova. I use the term behemoth correctly because you're dealing with some of the largest creatures this planet has ever seen. Ark Nova is a game I first heard about several months ago. It was billed as a terraforming Mars killer. So if you're not familiar with terraforming Mars, it's been one of the best-selling games we've had in years. It's a fairly heavy game with card drafting, tableau building, where you're trying to terraform Mars over multiple generations. Ark Nova does a lot of the same things, but many people are saying it does it better. What's happening in Ark Nova is you are going to be creating a zoo. And this isn't like just putting animals on a board. We've all played a lot of different zoo games, Zoo Loretto for one, Barren Park, things like that. This game actually takes the subject matter very seriously. So not only are you bringing animals into your zoo and obviously trying to make your zoo look attractive to get people to come to it, but you are also engaged in conservation efforts. Sometimes you are releasing animals back into the wild after rehabilitating them. You're developing partnerships with zoos in other countries and building up your zoo's reputation within the academic community. So there's a lot going on here, and the designers have tried really hard to make it have some sense of verisimilitude, to have it be as realistic as possible to what it is to actually run a first-rate and well thought out and ecologically connected zoo. So, right off the bat, this is definitely a heavier game, but if your group is into that kind of thing, think Terraforming Mars, think a bigger, longer game, this might be something you want to look at. What you're going to be doing is you're going to have a hand of cards, and these cards will include animals that you can place in your zoo, but they might also include various conservation efforts and ways to get sponsorships. Sponsorships are going to do things like, bringing after-school programs to your zoos, or getting particular primatologists and herpetologists to come and analyze the animals at your zoo. Each player does have their own player board, and these can be asymmetrical. Your first few games, you'll play them, everyone will have the same board, but you can have some unique abilities based on which zoo you have. And you're going to need to build enclosures. So this is a hex map. One of the things you're going to be doing is putting areas on the map where you're going to be able to put animals later. When you first put them out there, it's just an enclosure. Later on, if you play an animal, you'll turn that enclosure over. You will get some appeal, they call it, which is like tickets. More people are going to want to come to your zoo. The primary mechanism is very interesting. So here beneath your player board, you have 5 cards. Everyone has the same 5 cards. And those are the 5 actions you can do. Things like building new enclosures, adding animals to your zoo, going out and getting sponsorships is one of the things you can do. And so these actions are in a line, and they have a number from 1 to 5, depending on where they are. The higher the number, so if you have something up on the 4 or the 5, it's going to be more powerful when you take that action. But when you take it, you remove the card, put it back in the 1, and everything else slides over. So you're really thinking about what order do you want to do things in, how powerful are each of the actions. Plus, each of these cards is double-sided. One of the things you'll be able to do in the game is upgrade. So like maybe I'll upgrade my build action to make it even more efficient. Upgrade my animals action to make it more efficient. So you're really having to think strategically long-term, which actions do you want to be able to take and which ones do you want to be more efficient than others based on your strategy. Of course, the centerpiece of the game is this giant deck of cards. There are hundreds of cards in the game. Each one of them is unique. You've got animals from Europe, Asia, Africa, North and South America, Australia. You've got sponsorship types, all sorts of them. Scientific sponsorships that are going to be very hard to get because you're going to need a lot of certain symbols. This is where the tableau building comes in. Animals are going to have symbols based on what type of animal they are and where they come from. And some of these sponsorships are going to require you to have a certain number of certain types of symbols. Some of the animals are as well. If you want a big African lion in your zoo, your zoo has to already be well made for African animals. So that African lion, while it might be worth a lot of points, is going to require that you have 3 other African animals already in your zoo in advance of bringing that lion into your zoo. So a lot of cool strategic things to think about during the game. Plus, the way the game ends is very interesting. So there are these two tracks that go around the board, one of which is your appeal. You can basically think of that like that's people that want to come to your zoo. When you add animals, your appeal goes up. That's, people want to come, they want to pay money to come and see the animals. But the other one is your conservation efforts. So I mentioned there are conservation cards out there. They're going to be like, oh, if you have primates in your zoo, you might be able to take an action to do some conservation efforts towards primates, which will move you up on this conservation track. These are going in opposite directions from each other. So if you're familiar with a game like Rajas of the Ganges, at a certain point, your appeal and your conservation will cross each other, and that's how the game end is triggered. And the winner is the person whose conservation and appeal are the furthest apart, have crossed and exceeded each other by the furthest amount. So you can go for a strategy where you don't do conservation at all and just really try to get your appeal up. You can go for a strategy where you're not worrying about your appeal, just trying to do your conservation, or some mixture of the two. I have now played this game 3 times. It's definitely a bit of a teach. First game was a couple hours long, but I've gotten faster as I've played it more, and I just love it. The depth of exploration, I mean, just your starting hand, you look at, okay, well, what strategy do I want given these cards? As cards comes out, you're not going to see every card in every game. In a 2-player game, I don't even see half the cards come out. Maybe a third of the cards come out of the deck. So you can't plan your strategy based on hoping that African lion comes out. You've got to look at what's out there, decide what's worthwhile to go for and achieve, and just build your own unique zoo. Every zoo I've built has been different from the others. That's Ark Nova. It is getting a ton of accolades right now, and I think it's well worth it. We've got plenty of copies. Come on down, ask us about it, maybe take a copy home, unbox a zoo, and unbox some fun.